Guys, I'm back with another draw and chat session. So my partner and I spent some time at a cozy cabin in the woods just a few weekends ago, and it was the perfect little escape to recharge. I brought all my art supplies and did so much drawing. It was amazing. The forest surroundings really inspired me, and I really wanted to create something kind of cottagecore inspired with a cute little forest girl living her best life. My goal was to capture that like content, cozy solitude I was feeling, but while I was happily working on my art, I suddenly felt like a weird pang of loneliness, like totally out of nowhere. This is nothing new for me, but I remember thinking, wow, I'm having like a really great time. You know, it's perfect weather, really cool cabin. Sure wish I had some friends to share it with. I literally have never shared a cabin with friends, so I don't know where this line of thinking even came from, but it really hit me in that moment how incredibly lonely I've been, even in these moments of solitude where, I get to do whatever I want, but my brain is still like, hey, what would make this better if you weren't so damn lonely? But yeah, why does the mind do this? I was perfectly content like 5 minutes ago, so I don't know. So for today's draw and chat, I thought I'd dive into my complicated relationship with solitude and loneliness, especially in regards to being an artist. Hopefully it's not too heavy or boring of a topic. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer in this video. I think I've moved well past that stage of feeling sorry for myself. I would say I'm more of like a what the hell is it now, Wendy? I've simply resigned to the fact that there will always be a lingering sense of loneliness behind my solitude. But yeah, I really kind of meditated on this topic for a while after we left the cabin. And I came across a really great quote from Jim Carrey, of all people, that really resonated with me and very clearly described what I think is going on. He said, "Solitude is dangerous. It's very addictive. It becomes a habit after you realize how peaceful and calm it is. It's like you don't want to deal with people anymore because they drain your energy." I love this quote because I think it perfectly describes my situation pretty well. I never thought of solitude as being an addiction. I always thought it was like a solution. I always thought the way to combat that, awful feeling of loneliness was by embracing solitude, like completely. Solitude has always given me a sense of control over it. It's been my greatest friend, my greatest ally. From a young age, I realized just how much I loved being alone. It's no wonder I became an artist because, like, solitude is essential for almost all creatives. We need that time to ourselves to focus and, dive into the work we want to do. And so, I've always put solitude on a pedestal, not only for how it fuels my creativity, but also for how it helps me like mentally and physically recharge. As a true introvert, that alone time has been so invaluable to me, but solitude doesn't really address loneliness at all. It was kind of stupid of me to assume that. It was always just another distraction from the fact that I don't want to leave my comfort zone. And reaching out to people just scares the crap out of me. I've essentially designed my life to give me all the sweet solitude I could ever want. I've chosen not to have children. I work from home. Most of my socializing with friends happens on Discord now. I could easily go months without seeing like any of my friends or family in person. Like the only person I see regularly is my partner who lives with me, and honestly, if it weren't for him, I'd probably be a complete hermit. But yeah, the thing about solitude for me is that it's safe and cozy and way, way too addictive. And I could easily lose myself in it for like days or weeks at a time. And there's just no pressure from the outside world, which is why I'm so drawn to like staying home instead of making plans to hang out with people. But as much as I love like my cozy little corner, part of me wants to look outward, even though I'm like 100% an introvert, I still need those reminders of the humanity around me. But yeah, I think my understanding of loneliness has been fundamentally damaging for like a really long time. I used to think that loneliness meant I wasn't like good enough for other people to like hang out with, like I wasn't cool enough, or that I just wasn't like a people person because I'm introverted. But whether or not any of that is true, it kind of doesn't matter because I'm kind of focusing on the wrong thing. Being lonely isn't an indicator that I must, really suck at being a human being. I think feeling lonely, at least for me, is more of just a reminder to ask myself the question, hey, have you, acknowledged anyone else's existence lately besides your own? I'm so deeply entrenched in my solitude, like always focused on my personal projects, that I rarely think to schedule time to just hang out with people or even reach out. And so over the past year, I've come to terms with just how much I've neglected my social life in favor of this addiction to solitude. And, of course I feel lonely. I've barely made the effort to invest in other people. So yeah, solitude has given me so much. It's given me like creativity and peace and introspection, and it slows everything down and, helps me make sense of things. But loneliness brings a sense of like urgency to connect with people because, life is short. There's only so much time to exist in this world. And I think, being an artist can be a very lonely profession. But I believe the ones who thrive are those who strike a balance between like solitude and social engagement. And I think that's becoming like my main like personal project, like finding that balance. I don't need all this alone time. I can probably carve out a little bit of space for others. For the past few weeks, I've been attending like a small sketchbook meetup group on Wednesday nights. And, even though it's just like a tiny, like casual outing, it's been so helpful in like building my like confidence in socializing. Posting YouTube videos has also been like a really great outlet to engage with people, even though it's like, it's not like, face to face, but it's still helping me like connect in a whole new way. And it's been really exciting for me in that regard. I think essentially what I'm aiming for is to find my tribe. Like right now, it just feels like most people I talk to spend their days playing like video games, which I don't know anything about, or they're watching like a TV show that I also don't know anything about. So finding common interests has been like a real struggle for me. in terms of like making and maintaining friends. But I think if I'm just like surrounded by creative people in general, I would never be bored. I've always considered myself a really shy person, but I noticed that whenever I'm in the company of like a creative, like just creative people in general, that shyness tends to melt away pretty fast, and it's replaced with like just sheer curiosity. And I think that's been severely lacking in my solitude, is to be able to see how other people work. And I find it, endlessly fascinating and super inspiring and motivating. And it doesn't even have to be like another artist or illustrator like me. It can literally be anybody that creates stuff. Like, I would love to talk to a filmmaker or a novelist or like a songwriter or even a YouTuber. Like, I don't know. One day, though. One day I'll get there. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this rambling video. If you're also feeling like solitude has taken over your life, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what sorts of things you do to sort of overcome loneliness, because yeah, I could definitely use some tips right now, especially if you are an introverted artist type like me. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.